Hello. This is Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. Seems that we have a Wigwag Workshop. I guess gets the cookie. Followed by Valley's 56, and it looks like Andy from the Hot Dog Pilot has wandered in. Thank you, everyone. Uh, what do you have to say? Uh, One of the things I'm trying to do, and I think I'm relatively successful at it, is actually putting on, uh, I guess, an actual title uh, uh, for the live streams, not just the date and saying that's a live stream. So flew in and landed. Well, as long as you landed with the wheels down, I guess that's okay. Uh, and crash bang wallop. But it looks like the. Oh wait a second. I do not know why they have a top chat. It's like, you got live chat and top chat. It's like I don't understand what a top chat is, because it's like this is live, so why would you want a top chat? I mean, I could see it, I guess, afterwards. Whatever and how they figure that out, I don't know either. But yeah, another thing I'm gonna see about doing is only live chat on mobile. All right. Speaking of on mobile, might as well start this up so I can actually see the chat. All right, it's also on mute. I know, but that's indisputable top chat or the boss chat. But don't now. Sometimes they come out with features that make no sense to me, and I don't think makes a lot of sense to other people either. But that's how it. That's how they. Oh, you're going to want this, and it's like, no. Like my actually, the vehicle I have, it has what do they call it now? Uh, auto auto stop, I think it's called. Basically, when you come to a traffic light and stop, the engine shuts off. I turned around. It's like today I decided, all right, it's like, because I live out in a very rural area. Usually when I stop, it's usually about my stopping is maybe, I want to say, less than 5 seconds more than it shut. I turn around, I come to a stop, it shuts off, and then less than 5 seconds later, I'm moving again. There is a switch to turn it off, but I gotta sort of remember to, I guess, hit the button every single time, because it defaults to doing this auto stop, which is supposed to be helping with basically city driving MPG, miles per gallon. But where I'm at, I'm constantly moving. I mean, it's not like I'm sitting in traffic for minutes at a time. But I don't know. But yeah, the I guess the title for tonight is "Blinded by the Gauge" because sort of blindsided. It doesn't help the battery. It doesn't help your battery or your starter because the starter's constantly running, and sometimes I feel that's the point. Because that the uh, a lot of times it seems that it breaks down. You have to bring it to an authorized dealer. Because they don't want the standalone guy, the standalone guys to fix them. And yeah, it to me it sounds like, yes, it's saving on gas, but you're sort of moving. I don't want to say goalposts. That's not going to be that's not the correct way, but the money the money that's being used winds up being, instead of going to the gas companies, winds up possibly going to the dealerships. But and unfortunately, that's if it's -20, you need the prime mover on. I think at -20, especially if it's Celsius, you just don't shut off the engine, because once you stop it, it will probably not start, especially if it's a diesel. I believe that's how they operate up in Alaska, where it's since it's so cold and all that, they just keep the engine, they keep everything running because they realize that once it stops, it's not going to restart. But well, I guess it's time to switch over cameras. I think that's the right one. Ta-da! It's the correct one. Yay! There is a function that says touch up my appearance, and I've had actually turned around and hit that to see what happens and all that. I didn't see any improvement, but I did actually find it was more, not really improvement, but it did slow the feed down a bit. So all of a sudden, I was, instead of being all nice and running nicely, I started losing frames. But let's go over to here. All right. Now let's disassemble. I'm gonna need let's see, I'm gonna need parts. These are all black. To the red ones. There we go. Need the blind set. Also, I need a place to put all the parts. Alright. Forgot this. Yes, it's a blind driver reinstall. Because I made the wrong assumption that all the drivers were in the same plane. But apparently the blind let's pull that out. But apparently the blind driver is not on the same not on the same level. Now let's take this apart and see if we can actually see that in the frame. That out. Alright. Looking at this. Now, yes, long straight edge. I cannot tell. Let's go. Let's straight edge. Let's see what we got here. It's a real straight edge, and running that would work. Well, since it is not working properly, not sure there's a difference between the. Ooh, that might be a possibility. It might be a difference of, since this has bearings, it might be the difference in the bearings. Don't know. Take it apart, find out. Ooh. Need the other one. Yeah. Learning curves, especially if you haven't done anything before. And in my case, doing something that no one, well, I believe no one's done before. Now, people are probably wondering if, yes, it is the driven axle that is blind. Mainly because I have a lot of these. And here's an unmodified one where the blind drivers are on the driven axle. But that's why I wound up buying a whole bunch of these, because of needing them for parts, because these are not manufactured anymore. So this one, gotta remember not to do the center one, because the center one, that is connected to the motor, not to the drive axle. All right, let's pull that out of the way. Pull this out of the way. Yes, pretty much, you have to get multiples of the same thing. So, well, the bearings look the same, but don't know. Maybe it's just a very specific model. Let's see if I can turn this thing without the. Oh, hello there, Randall. Thank you for coming in. So we can do this without causing the bearings to fall out. I want to say they're all in line, so I'm not quite sure why the blinded ones are out of. Hey, Rail Artists, thank you for coming in. Now, I do not own a cradle, but that's okay. Let's get to need to grab our quarter and the wheel puller. First things first, we need to pull the wheels off. Now I think these might. I'm trying to think if these were the ones that I wound up putting super glue on. Well, at Amherst, I actually saw the puller 2, which I want to say looks similar to this, but instead of being wide and thin, it was thin and tall. I was actually really half tempted to. Ooh. Oh, hello there, Anthony Dodge. Just didn't realize that you snuck in. Thank you for coming in. I want to say I realized, I want to say about a month ago that you somehow were able to add because to all your titles. So we're kind of curious, why did you make that specific choice with because? Just curious. I know you usually take this time for dinner with the family, so thank you for coming in, Anthony. Ooh, all right. Well, thank you for choosing my silly stream. No family. Uh-oh. Hopefully this is not a permanent solution. I doubt it, though, but let's break that off. Now I gotta. This is the most important wheel because there's only on these locomotives. This is the only one that's insulated. Now I'm not quite sure if you can see the very, very fine white insulating material between the metal wheel and the tire. But yeah, I think there's a lot of let's put this over here. It looks like it's going to stick. So now the good thing with the blind drivers, you don't have to really I'll tell Joyce to feel better or else. Because I think she doesn't realize how big of a fan base she has. So we got that out of the way. All right, these are now off. Now take the blind drivers, take them off. Well, this cooler's getting a lot of use today. I would assume the quarter will be used just as much. Now, Northwest Shortline actually has a gearbox motor replacement, which at first I was actually thinking on getting. Yeah, I would have to. There was a time when I was going to college at the Institute ITT Tech, and all of a sudden I happened to realize one time that I had a small fan base that was sort of kind of following me, which threw me off because when I was growing up, I was always considered someone who was mentally handicapped. So it was one of those things that it was very odd having younger people going like, "Ooh, hello there, Caboose," and I'm blanking on your name again. Hello there, Dwight. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, Caboose 1973 is, as far as I know, the closest person that is on currently in chat that's closest to me, Dave. I got to figure out how to put your name to the hobby store I was at this weekend. His name is also Dave. He wound up actually buying. It's called JP&S, which originally, when he bought the business, it was JP. Yeah. JP's with an apostrophe. And then when the P in JP passed away, it was in the will that the store would go on, and I guess the son was willing to go that far, but then after a while didn't really want to run the business, so he sold it. And after a whole bunch of legal shenanigans and all that fun stuff, the new guy, whose name is Paul, he was able to buy it. And let's see, how can we do this? Uh-oh. Yeah, there was a lot of things being very frisky around here. All right, let's see. How can I put this back on? Ooh, that's right. I had to change this from this one. Hopefully the probing was enjoyable for everyone that got in. Now, one of the good things with blind drivers is that you don't have to worry about the gauge. So as long as they're relatively fixed. Yes, this is a Northwise puller number 3. The number 65-4. I also have a puller 1, but it was much smaller and can't quite fit what I needed. So I went and I got originally wanted the number 2, but they were out of stock at the time, and so I was not able to get that specific type. Here we are. Going to use a HO scale exactor or ruler as a, not sure what it's called. But basically what I want to do is not have the hole there. Don't believe that, yeah, there's nothing on there that shows it. Yeah, if you're doing a lot of stuff where you're dealing with a lot of drivetrain stuff, but thank you, Mystics. It's basically what I did. I have a bunch of different weathering mixes from Hunter Line, and basically turned around and did a certain number, put into one color, did one in a different color, and after they were all dried out, just threw them basically into a thing and shook them all up and sort of randomized them. Yeah, interesting, Dave. Things with blue boxes, they were a blue box is pretty, does not seem to be going as planned. Or is it? No, it is going down. But I think, in my humble opinion, the blue box, Aston blue box was probably the best during the DC era. The thing is that because the way the blue boxes were designed, they weren't really set up for DCC. All right, seems to be going in fairly well. And one thing I don't like about the heart thing, whatever it is, and all that, is that they fixed it on the console version, but they haven't fixed it on the mobile version. Is where they have this heart, because I was it says I used the frame. I used the netless frame with a shell. It's like, okay, which shell is it? You got to wait until the next person to say something so I can see the rest of Dave's comment. But there's a lot of times that there we go, GP9 shell. Yeah, you get to isolate the motor, which for blue box was a little bit hard because the way the motor mounts wound up fitting onto the motor and the motor mount, the way it was set up on the blue box setup was a little bit hard to do. It's not impossible, but it was not easy. Got that relatively flat. That's close enough. I want to say it's within quartering distance. So now we'll put the puller away. So got that out of the way. That over here. And on to the next Northwest Shortline tool, sorry. Okay, so we got this, and I mean, if you ask me, Northwest Shortline should give more of these out. If I could find a actually, with all these locomotives I'm using for parts, it should maybe have a I have to say, because of what I'm doing, can't really. It's one of those things I don't really like, buying new stuff and just to break them, basically. So glad that these older stuff is around. Now we put in these pins. Now, from what I understand, the way these pins are set up is one side's metric and the other side is imperial. Now, to orient things correctly, insulated on insulated. And this goes down, this goes towards me. Need to move the washers to the outside. So you gotta make that flush. Yeah, I think the reason why a lot of people are now going for what we would call modern diesels is for nostalgia. Unless your parents brought you to a museum with steam engines on it, you would never, except in movies, that's when you would see steam engines. And a lot of times the steam engines in movies are not real. There was I forgot what recent major movie had a train steam engine in it. But when you look behind the scenes of how it was made, there was a lot of times that they weren't even one, they were what is it now? They were either gas powered or diesel powered. All the effects and chugging and all that was was post production, and my assumption is that looking at how the screen screen was set up and all that, the puffing the puffing, how the smokestack may have not been in sync with the sound, or in sync with the motion. Did I get this perfectly bang on? Huh. The question is it? Yeah, it looks like I got the thing quartered properly. I don't need to make any adjustments. Okay, what happened here? Hmm. Yeah, I haven't done massive amount of stuff with DCC yet. Um, I'll be doing a bunch of stuff with DCC with uh, here with this mostly for the sound, not necessarily for the multiple train control, because what you're seeing right here is about 1/4 of the whole entire layout, so it doesn't need to be that way. I just happen to realize I'm nuts. I'm centered over here, but the camera's over there. So looks like Mr. Ellison has thought you were in here earlier, but thank you for coming back in. That's one thing I would have to say I'd like about clubs is hopefully you can turn obviously if the club is big enough, there's probably someone there that knows what needs to be done with different stuff. Got one that's good with bench work. You got another one that's good with locomotives. Somebody else that's good with cars. Someone's good with electronics. Okay, so we got that there. I gotta remember which side it has to be. I have an original that has been modified. I was looking at this going like, wait, this has been modified. And then it's like, no, the rubber tire is missing on that. So we need to insulate it away from us. Which makes sense because the power was on the tender side. Okay, so get that there. Add that there. And finally, and this. Now we this back together. I'm trying to think. I belong to a modular club, but the thing is, they don't really. They usually more get together during a train show or something like that. The actual physical train club that everything in the right orientation. Let's see if it's the same on this side. Yep. All right. Well, technically the NEB and W, or the RPI club layout, is, I think, technically the closest one. But got kicked out of where they were at, and then all of a sudden they're out of a building. A lot of political shenanigans that went on there. I don't know the full details, but it was basically, oh, well, we need, for security, we need to get you out of the basement of one of the dormitories. So we're sort of like, yeah, it'd be nice if we had our own dedicated space and all that. And after, to me, it seemed to be more of a bait and switch, because it's like, oh, well, we're going to do this, and this, we'll help you out and all that. And everyone in the club is sort of like, okay, this is pretty cool. You're not as annoyingly evil as you're put out to be. And then sort of right at the, not necessarily the last second, they put him into a, building that they decided to rent for it. And they got everything in there, everything that was out and all that. And then RPI turned around, we're not going to be renting out the building anymore. And then they're like, okay, where are we going? And it's like, well, it's, you're on your own. Once they got what they wanted, once RPI, the head of RPI got what they wanted, they just like, yeah, okay, we got what we wanted, you're on your own. And yeah, this person would turn around and, from what I understand, do a lot of, oh yes, we can do this, and this, and this. And then once they got what they wanted, they reneged down the deal. Let's see, there was one particular, I'm trying to think now. There was one big huge thing that wound up being the student union, which was it was something that when the student union got started, they did everything on their own. And when this new person came in, they obviously didn't like the students doing things on their own, and so they turned around and did their best to try to get rid of the student union, because it's like everything had to be their way. So especially originally I kept these for each individual locomotive, but now I'm getting to a point where probably it might be best just to separate the parts individually. Have their own thing. All right. Okay. Got that. All right. You're theoretically back in business. Let's put that out of the way. Now, tonight, from my understanding, Rainbow Bell is doing the Sidetrack Sunday thing. There we go. Well, to grab this. Do we have power? Yes, we have. Well, that's bizarre. Huh. Okay, then. I turned on the power pack, the one the monitor's turned off briefly. So that was interesting. All right. And right now, the brushes on this locomotive are connected to wires, which is going to make adding DCC a lot easier with this. Wait a second. Probably should double check to make sure it works off the track. And it does not. It binds. Where is it binding? It's waddling around too much, in my opinion, but it runs in one direction but not the other. Now it's locked. What's going on there? All right. Looks like there might be something wrong with the front drivers. See how they're sort of like bouncing back and forth? Not sure why they're doing that. But let's say we turn that off and the monitor goes off again. Huh. Very odd. Not sure why it does that, but oh well. I'm the president and treasurer of the Ignorant Club. So Misty, who's the secretary? So my assumption is that front drivers are not quite in sync. Grab the wrong one. Looking for a secretary. Central New Jersey units? Well, actually, I'm aiming more for Albany and Susquehanna units. Good night, Dave. Thank you for coming in. Looks like it's time to start winding down anyway. I think I mentioned before, Rainbow Bell is doing the Sidetrack Sunday today. Three years of experience in ignorance. I would also assume being secretary, keeping track of records and all that. Probably also want to have. All right, Randall, thank you for coming out. This. All right, yeah, looks like it's a good time to switch cameras and reorientate. Because it is almost that time. Bouncy cameras. All right, now switch back to this camera. And here we are. All right. Well, as I said, as far as I know, Rainbow Bell is doing Sidetrack Sunday. I think he normally does, I want to say he normally does the first one. And I think next week, I believe, is J2 or John for next week's. Yeah, good night, Valleys, and everyone else. Excuse me. Thanks for everyone for joining in, and keep me, well, relatively sane. Well, okay. Yeah, I just happened to look at I got the task manager on that monitor and just noticed something that was interesting. All right, well, goodbye, everybody. I think the world needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it around. Bye.